All right, revisiting my Heritage Travel Trip series, the topic of how am I going to document my videos during the trips. Well, for me, Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, there are two primary, the two biggest things are, one, how tired I am, and two, technology available to me at the time. So if I have no filming device, there's no video documentation. If I'm exhausted and like I've actually blacked out, I've been so tired. Yes. So like taking that into account, there are circumstances that could arise in which no video documentation is taken. So this is thinking about the case of if the stars align and I could take video documentation during the trips, would I? Yes. And before I proceed, I'm going to say, what's the status? So what are the countries? So I'll do links in the video description to the 8 that are currently in the series, which is what, like Scotland, Ireland, Germany, Italy, Poland, England, Norway, United States of America. So regions, currently countries from which my ancestors originated, my ancestral origins. So that's the first group. The second group are semi-documented. Like I have some documentation, but still need additional internal verification kind of at the least. And that is Austria and Wales. And then the last category is initial final filling in of information, and so that is Hungary, Sweden, Russia, Croatia, and the Czech Republic. So that's everything, and I'll update. My goal here is to make this video and before the end of the day publish it. I'm filming this Wednesday, 27 March 2024, and before the end of the day publish it. I might watch a movie, not on my movie watch list, just to relax. I'm gonna do, with the rest of this, I'm gonna do a little bit of a sweet eats. I got Snoqualmie Ice Cream, Mukilteo mud. So this is local ice cream. I live in northern Seattle, Washington State, United States of America, in Snoqualmie is Snohomish County, so Snohomish County, which is our neighbor county to the north, King County. So local. Same state, neighbor county. Level of local. And they sell ice cream at the grocery store, so I'm going to weigh out one serving. I lost all my holiday weight. Does that mean I'm going to gain all of it back? No. Is this going to turn into tomorrow I've gained 50 pounds? The premise of like the Tim Allen, the Santa Claus, where he goes to bed and wakes up in the morning and has gained 40 pounds or something like that. I'm not Santa Claus. I'm a she, her, hers. Okay. Not that Santa Claus wanted to gain that much weight. It's kind of hard. I did pull it out a few minutes early. All right, so how tired I am. So let's say I'm working for Salon Sakarni, $20,000 a year, Ilya Karun, $18,000 a year, Noah Lyles, $40,000 a year, and they all have like a joint venture, Galactic Materials, where I'm like the only paid employee, and it's them and Jacob Ingebrigtsen. And that way, if one of the three can't pay or something like that, then the other one can come on board as an employer, or if they want to switch out or something like that, they can. But if what's the biggest hurdle I foresaw for these heritage travel trips in a work setting? I'm thinking about returning to the office in a work setting, and 9 to 5, or considering my employers and their competition space, maybe more like a 40-hour work week, even if it's not 9 to 5, which I don't. The only time in my life I've worked the 9 to 5 job was in California. I would, other places, I'd start my shift at 5:30 a.m. if it was opening, work late at night if it was closing. It was kind of all over the place. I was a lifeguard. It's the nature of the job. And then when I was doing experimental work and working in research labs, it was get it done or on coursework. So the reality of working and going to school. All right, 113 grams. So here it is. And so if I have a bunch of, it's sweating, and it's sweating the ice cream. There we go. That's weird. See, now it's all muddy. Oh, I got it dirty. I brought different stuff I could put on it. I don't know if I will. Oh, it's melting faster. If I travel for my job, I can imagine that impacting my desire to travel. 1. 2, I'd really like to get my student loans paid off. And if I made $78,000 a year, I did 25% of my income towards paying off student loans, taking out taxes and basic bills and stuff, I'd be left at what? $35,000 a year. And so my soulmates cover the critters, the housing, gas, electricity, and internet, that kind of stuff. And food, but I help with the food. And then I have health insurance, or health care, more specifically. It's very good ice cream. Premium ice cream. 320 calories for 1 serving. As well as high quality ingredients and local. Though, an ice cream doesn't have to be local to be premium. Per my definition. So, I wouldn't necessarily have a bunch of income. So it'd be good for me to save it. Health insurance and car stuff. And then food. Alright, so save what I can. Especially if there's a medical ailment that requires more money. And then get the student loans paid off. Which at 25%, depending on how much interest has accrued. You know, maybe about 3 years. Maybe I'll do a dedicated video on this, the student loans thing. Breaking down a hypothetical or the scenario of $78,000 a year as income. And living with my soulmates and stuff. So if part of my job, my 40 hours a week, includes travel or going to competitions and stuff like that, I can imagine being tired. There's also paid vacation leave if I only get 2 weeks a year, and I want to do a 3-week heritage travel trip. It means at least 2 years, or at least kind of thing, to get enough vacation time to actually take the trip. Yeah. What if I'm out eating with Ilya Karun at a 4-top, and he is on one side of the table and I'm on the other. There's a chair to my left, and Adam Petey comes over and puts his hand on the chair and goes, "Is this seat taken?" And I say yes. And Ilya says no. And he pulls the chair back and sits down. And he says, "You know what the answer is?" Silence. "Technically, it's both. It was not taken and now it is." What if that happens? And he goes, "I want her for a week. So go out to Great Britain for a week. Because my supervisor says that's where you're going to spend your 40 hours. We'll cover your lodging and your food. Your work weeks with him. Instead of spending the week working on going through press releases and upcoming questions and doing your training under my regime so that I can go into my stuff, you're going to go do that for Adam Petey." Like, what if that's a whole month? And what if I do that like a week out of every month? and that's every month. I think I would be very exhausted. In which case, if something like that happened, maybe waiting to do the heritage travel trip, like restarting the series after I've paid off my student loans. I do have to get enough time to do it. And then that gets back to the technology. I would prefer to use my own filming devices as opposed to like a work camera or a work computer. Yeah. It's revisiting, not a concluding takeaway. Especially if not the first, I've already done the first. That was Scotland in July 2019. If returning to it is a few years after moving in with my soulmates away, this is just revisiting. So again, I'm Tanis Leonhardi, she, hers of Seattle. Thank you for joining me, and this was revisiting the topic of during trip video documentation of my Heritage Travel Trip series.